Yo, what is up guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna be teaching you how to mix your kick and your sub bass. It is something that you asked me a lot since the beginning of the year, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere, and I decided to bring it to you. For this tutorial I'm gonna be using two plugins. The first one is Volume Shaper 4, it's a paid plugin, but you can use other plugins if you want. And the second one is SM Exoscope, it is a free plugin. And before you leave, because this video is bored, because you already know these things, because I'm ugly or whatever, I would recommend you to go to the end of this video because I'm giving for free something that you probably like. So before you leave, go there and check it out. And I want to thank you for all the support I'm receiving in the past videos. Lots of likes, lots of comments, lots of views, and I would like the same for this video. So if you like this video, just leave a like, and if you want me to keep continuing doing this kind of videos about how to mix things, how to layer things, just leave it in the comments, whatever you like, you know. Nothing else, let's get to the video. Alright guys, so here I have a kick, normal kick, and here I have a sine wave I always use for the sub bass with 3x OSC. You have to take care of two things. The first one is that the note of your kick needs to be the root note of your key. Alright, you have a key on your track, probably F minor, G minor, D major, whatever. Okay, and I recommend you to have the kick in the root note. So for example, if we are in F minor, the root note is F. This way your kick is gonna be mixed a lot better. You can use other notes for the kick, but you have to take care, and with this one for sure you're gonna have a good kick and it will be well mixed on the track. So just go for the root key and everything will be okay. And the second thing is that your sub bass needs to be super clean. Okay, so to do that you can do two things. The first one is to cut the sub bass of everything, and when I say everything I mean everything, even hi-hats. You know, you cannot hear the low end of the hi-hats, and if you probably look at a spectrum analyzer you cannot see any sub bass, but there is a bit of sub bass. And if you add that little bit of the hi-hat and a little bit of the claps and a little bit of, I don't know, the vocal or thing like that, at the end you have a lot of sub bass that creates rumble sounds, you know, like muddiness on the low end, and you don't really want that. And the second thing you can do to have a clean sub bass, just have a sine wave for the sub, you know. If you're making a hardstyle or big room, probably you're gonna have a kick that has everything, you know, but if you have a bass line like Impressive House or a future bass or things like that, your sub bass, you probably want it to be just a sine wave, not the same sub of the bass line, you know, because this way it's gonna be a lot cleaner and a lot easier to mix. Alright, so here I have a kick in F. So for this tutorial I'm just gonna put here one note. Okay, on a track you're probably gonna have things like that, you know, like a normal bass line. But for this tutorial I'm just gonna put one note, so it's easier just to understand it. And the thing is, how low do you want your sub bass? For example, I'm gonna put in F because the kick is in F. You can see here the spectrum, and this note is too high for the sub. If we open an equalizer, for example, for filter 1, if we click now on the note, you can see it's around 180 hertz, you know, it's super high. So let's lower a bit. Now it's around 190 hertz, things like that. And if we lower even more, it is around 50 or 40 on the F. Okay, but the thing is that on a sub bass probably this is too low because it doesn't have power and it doesn't sound clean, and you're probably gonna have a bass line, you know, that maybe you go even lower and it's not gonna sound good, you know. So what I recommend you to do is to put it up here around 100 hertz. Okay, and if you want, what I sometimes do is put another sine wave lower in volume and one octave lower. So this way, this one is the one that covers the 40 hertz area, and this one that is the one you really feel is around 90, 100 hertz. So together, as you can see here, it goes like this. But if we add this one, you have more sub bass, you know. But for this tutorial I'm just gonna delete this one. Okay, so I'm gonna put the limiter and I'm gonna increase the volume of the 3x OSC, the sine wave, so you can see what happens if you don't have a well mixed kick and bass. you feel like the sine wave is like doing sidechain, you know, it's going up and down, but it really isn't. The problem is that the kick and the sub bass are conflicting, you know, they are fighting for the place, and that's what's happening, and you don't want that. You want that effect, but a clean effect, you know. So the first thing I would do is to reduce a bit on the note of the kick on an equalizer, so the kick hits around 100 Hertz. So what I would do is right click here, you go to the key, we have a kick in F, so on the 87 Hertz, what I would do is make it a bit more narrow and reduce a bit, just like this, 1 dB, 2 dBs, so I give a bit more space for the punch of the kick. After that, what I would do is a sidechain, okay? To do this, what I do is first I go to the kick and I load the volume shaper, and what I do is look at this the wave of the kick. And as you can see, it goes to the half, because you have to decide. You're gonna have a big kick and a big sub bass, you know, you have to decide. So if we divide the beat, this one beat, in 4 quarters, the thing is you can have or 1 quarter for the kick and 3 quarters for the sub bass, or 3 quarters for the kick and 1 quarter for the sub bass, or half and half. In my opinion, the best one and the one I like the most is half for the kick and half for the sub bass, so I'm gonna do that. And well, what I would do, in this case, this kick is a bit treated, so I already have the kick just half of the beat. But what I would do is around here, I would lower a bit the kick with a nice form. And now what I do is I put this same sidechain on the sub bass. Okay, I click here, save preset, I hold the kick, I put it here. This is why I love volume shaper. I right click here and I put mirror on X axis, okay? So it's doing the opposite. So now, in theory, it's gonna work, because when the kick is leaving, the sub is coming in, you know? What you don't want is this kind of sidechain, because you're leaving some space in between that is creating like a silence, and you don't want that, okay? So you prefer better to have a sidechain like this one, where they are fighting just a little bit, but maybe make this a bit harder. Okay, so now I use volume shaper on the master, so I can see the wave of the kick and the sub bass, okay? If we don't have this sidechain, as you can see, the wave is not, it doesn't look good, you know. But if we add the sidechain, we can see here the kick, how it goes, and then here the sub, how it goes. It's a sine wave, so it has to go up and down slowly. And here, it's like it's changing, it should go up, but it stays down. It's because it's where the kick and the sub bass fight a little bit, but not that much, you know. It's not like this. So that's a good point for the start. And now what you have to look is at the volume of the sub bass. To do this, I recommend you to use reference track and see how loud is the kick, how loud is the sub bass, and all these things. If you don't know how to use reference tracks, the best way is to use the stems from remix competitions and things like that. And I have a tutorial about this, so I will put a link up here, and I really recommend you to go and watch it, because it will help you a lot on your mixdown. And well, this is SM Exoscope. It's similar to the volume shaper. You can see the waveform, but it doesn't start always at the beginning, so that's why I don't like to watch the previous thing here. But here what I look is at the volume. We can see is that this is the sub, this is the kick, and maybe just watching here, the sub bass is too loud. So what I would do is maybe have the sub bass on the lowest point of the kick, more or less here, okay? So let's reduce a bit. Okay, around here is okay. And now what I will also do is on an equalizer or filter plugin, I would make a filter around 100 Hz, and I will look at the spectrum and hear better what's happening. I can hear that maybe there's too much sidechain, so make this a bit softer. And just that, guys, it's super simple, you know. A lot of people are having problems on this, but it's not that hard. You just need to work a bit more, of course, but this is just a tutorial. But try to compare with release tracks from big artists, you know, and see what are they doing, how loud is the sub bass in comparison with the kick and things like that, you know. But you just need to have a clean sub bass with the things I told you, with a sine wave, with a kick in the root note of the key, cutting the sub bass on the other sounds, and just using sidechain just a little bit, and maybe reducing a bit with the EQ, and nothing else. It's super simple. So I hope this video helps you a lot, because as I said before, a lot of people ask me this a lot of times, and I hope this helps you to have a clean sub bass. And nothing else, guys. Leave me in the comments what do you want for the next tutorial, and I will do it. And guys, see you in the next video.